I helped him build an empire, then he left me behind.
In a world where two chefs dreamed side by side, ambition and unspoken love simmered beneath every dish, until one fateful dinner boiled over into betrayal. Renée VOSS stepped into École de Cuisine Nouvelle, clutching her well-worn knife roll. The stainless steel counters gleamed like mirrors, and the chatter of classmates formed a low hum that contrasted sharply with her pounding heart. Raised in a small village, Renée had spent her childhood stirring pots of her mother's vegetable stew. Now she faced a future of Michelin star aspirations. Anxiety threatened to overwhelm her, until a confident voice broke through. Across the prep station, Marcus Delacroix, tall, with sun-kissed hair and an easy grin, flipped his whisk and caught it behind his back. He offered her a playful bow.
"First day nerves?"
He asked, stepping beside her. Before Renée could reply, Marcus demonstrated the chef's knife technique, guiding her hand with gentle corrections.
"Feel the rhythm. Cooking is a dance, not a chore."
Under his patient guidance, Renée's jitters eased. After class, when the teaching kitchen emptied, she and Marcus lingered to sketch new recipes on yellowed notebooks. They smoked sprigs of rosemary, coaxed citrus gels from reluctant molds, and imagined menus that combined classic French technique with global flavors. Their laughter echoed against stainless steel walls, forging a bond neither expected but both welcomed. Winter's frost encrusted the campus, but inside the kitchens, warmth bloomed between Renée and Marcus. He surprised her one morning with a saffron-stained jar, whispering that he'd traded extra prep hours for it at the local market. In return, Renée shared her mother's ginger carrot soup recipe, each spoonful a reminder of home. One storm-lashed evening, they found refuge in the student lounge, teacups in hand as wind rattled the windowsills. Soft jazz crackled from an old radio. Marcus confided his dream.
A restaurant that married the Provençal classics with the Moroccan harissas fire and Japanese miso's depth.
When it was Renée's turn, her voice trembled as she described her vision.
Dishes that soothed loneliness and built community.
Their gazes locked. The world outside, the storm, the campus, faded. Renée's pulse thundered. She leaned forward, heart afloat, ready to confess more than new recipe ideas. But Marcus's phone buzzed sharply, reality crashing down. The moment slipped away, leaving her cheeks aflame and words unsaid. After graduation, both chefs joined Le Soleil Bleu under the exacting eye of Chef Alain Moreau. Renée poured hours into stirring stocks and perfecting beurre blanc, while Marcus dazzled diners as sous chef, crafting bold tasting menus. Late nights found them testing new desserts. Renée balanced acidity in a rhubarb compote. Marcus flambéed marshmallows for a chocolate chili sundae. Their companionship deepened, shared jokes over delivered pizza, whispers of future collaborations that felt more like home than the Hermes-scented restaurants where they worked. Then came Marcus's triumphant news. LibraPlate, a rising food podcasting network, wanted him to co-host a cooking competition show. Better yet, they asked for a teammate. Without hesitation, Marcus asked,
"Renée, because nobody works better with me."
Renée's heart soared at the chance to shine alongside him. Duel of the Dishes premiered in Los Angeles, thrusting Renée and Marcus into the intense glare of cameras and adoring fans. They stormed through blindfolded ramen recreations, timed pastry challenges, and guerrilla street food pop-ups. Their chemistry was undeniable, earning them unanimous wins, and a weekly spot on the show's highlight reel. Behind the scenes, however, tension simmered. Renée stayed in shadowed prep rooms, tweaking sauces and rehearsing intricate plating. Marcus basked in interviews, on-camera segments, talk show spots, and magazine covers plastered with his name. Renée was reduced to a footnote in his rising narrative. At one backstage filming, Renée caught sight of Marcus and Sierra Lee, an effervescent talk show host, laughing close together. Sierra's hand brushed his arm, their heads bent in whispered conversation. A cameraman captured the moment, and soon the clip went viral. Renée's heart lurched, seeing Sierra's palm splayed against Marcus's chest, their faces inches apart. Online comments bombarded her,
Is Sierra the real partner?
Renée must be blind to trust him.
Renée chastised herself. It's just PR strategy. Everyone plays to the cameras. Yet each replay stung like salt on a wound. That night, at the Soho Bistro unveiling gala, she confronted him backstage, voice shaking with anger and hurt.
You flaunted your affection with Sierra Lee, and you didn't even tell me. Ungrateful.
Marcus's expression hardened.
Stop mixing your feelings with my life, Renee. This is my moment.
Her world spun. Believing their partnership, and something unspoken, had been cast aside, Renée walked away. For one full week, she retreated from the spotlight, taking solace in solitude. She rented a small apartment by the river, cooked simple meals for one, and replayed every moment in her mind. Meanwhile, without Renée's steady hand, the Soho pop-up menu faltered. Dishes were rushed, misseasoned, and underwhelmed the critics. Studio producers noticed the tension on camera. Investors hesitated. Marcus's confidence wavered. On the 7th day, Marcus found Renée kneading dough in a quiet backstreet bakery. His voice trembled as he entered.
Renee, I'm lost without you. The Sierra thing was a stunt, a PR tactic to keep viewers guessing. I never stopped needing you, your taste, your perspective, your partnership.
Renée looked up, tears in her eyes. She wanted to believe him, but braced for more excuses.
You betrayed my trust. But seeing you struggle, it hurt to know how much of you I'd put right.
He knelt, taking her flour-dusted hands in his.
Come back with me. Help me save what we built, what we dreamed. I'll give you full credit, no footnotes.
Something in his desperation softened her heart. That evening, Renée returned to the kitchens of Le Soleil Bleu as Marcus's partner once more, guiding each dish and tempering every detail. Yet true trust is as delicate as spun sugar. Renée thought their reconciliation had healed the rift. But only weeks later, a fresh wave of gossip shattered her hopes. Paparazzi photos surfaced online, Marcus smiling in the back seat of a midnight drive luxury car, his hand entwined with a rising chef-producer, Lila Chen. In the grainy images, Lila's laughter rang soft as she leaned in close, a silk scarf brushing Marcus's neck. His expression, open, affectionate, was the same one he had once reserved for Renée. Her heart constricted. This was no staged PR moment. The photos hinted at genuine intimacy. Renée's breath hitched as she stared at the screen, betrayal flaring hotter than any kitchen fire. Renée confronted Marcus backstage at a charity gala. His eyes widened with guilt, but his apology stumbled on his lips. Marcus explained,
Renee, it's not what it looks like. I swear, she's just a friend.
Renée shook her head, tears stinging her vision.
Every time I forgive you, you prove me wrong. I can't be your safety net any longer.
Without waiting for more excuses, she turned and walked away. This time, she knew the partnership, and any spark between them, was irrevocably broken. The next morning, Renée submitted her resignation once more. No regrets, only liberation. She poured her savings into a narrow storefront on a side street. Exposed brick walls, reclaimed wood tables, and candlelight set a warm stage. La Revanche, the revenge, rose from her determination. She crafted a 5-course tasting menu that wove personal stories into each plate: heirloom tomato carpaccio, mushroom consommé, and lamb braise kissed with mint and pomegranate. News spread before opening night. Critics whispered about the chef who'd walked away from fame to pursue passion. Reservations filled within minutes. Investors who once chased Marcus now begged for a seat at Renée's table. 6 months after Renée's final goodbye to Marcus, she stood before the handwritten stacks of invitations she'd addressed in her private attic office. Each thick black embossed card bore one name, Marcus Delacroix. By inviting him back, Renée aimed to close the circle on her own terms. That Saturday evening, La Revanche's dimly lit dining room buzzed with anticipation. Soft jazz drifted through the air, mingling with the scent of burning tallow candles. The long communal table stretched like a stage, each place set with heavy white dinnerware and polished wine glasses. At precisely 7:30 p.m., Marcus swept in, tailored charcoal suit, crisp white shirt, camera crew trailing behind him like paparazzi at Cannes. He paused at the entrance, scanning the room. When his gaze met Renee's cool, measured nod, he realized this was no casual dinner. This was her reckoning. Renee offered him water instead of a welcome, her expression unreadable as she quietly returned to her post behind the gleaming pass. Course 1, Memory Lane. Renee placed a delicate porcelain cup of carrot ginger bisque before Marcus. The soup's velvety warmth rose gently in the candlelight. As he sipped, memories of their earliest kitchen experiments washed over him, late nights in culinary school, the thrill of a new recipe perfected. Course 2, Parallel Paths. A slate plate arrived, bearing twin quenelles, emerald pea puree, and umami-rich mushroom duxelles. Renee spoke softly at his elbow.
One is my dedication to detail, the other your flair for the dramatic.
Marcus tasted each in turn, his nod tinged with regret. Course 3, the Delacroix. The pièce de résistance. A sculpted duck breast, seared to caramel perfection, resting on black garlic puree with pickled quince petals. Marcus, eager for the classic reveal, sank his teeth into a large portion and immediately began to choke on the richness. His confident posture collapsed into harsh, uncontrollable coughs. Renee moved with composure. She placed a firm hand on his back, guiding him upright, and pressed a small glass of water into his trembling fingers. He drank urgently, gasping until his breathing steadied.
Patience, Marcus. True flavor reveals itself slowly.
The room was hushed, cameras capturing every moment of his vulnerability. Course 4, Cold Reality. Renee presented a bowl of nitro-frozen basil lime sorbet, icy shards that dissolved on contact, clearing his palate and his mind. Marcus licked his lips, awareness dawning in his eyes. Course 5, Bitter Farewell. For the final act, Renee cracked open a dark chocolate sphere tableside, revealing molten ancho chili caramel at its heart. The first spoonful soothed, but the caramel's heat blossomed into a slow burn, beautifully painful. Marcus closed his eyes, acknowledging the metaphor. Renee stood, lifting a flute of rosé in a steady hand. The critics hushed, pens poised.
We began as equals, two chefs who dreamed side by side. You built an empire on that dream and left me behind. True craftsmanship demands respect, patience, and loyalty. Tonight's menu is my final word.
As she finished, a ripple of applause swelled, part admiration, part vindication. By morning, La Revanche's reservation line was down, crushed by hundreds of callback requests. Food bloggers couldn't stop typing.
Renée VOSS's masterclass in culinary justice.
Headlines splashed across screens.
Sous chef's revenge. Renée VOSS humiliates Marcus Delacroix at her own table.
In the days that followed, Marcus's once booming endorsements shifted to damage control. Investors who had lined up for his pop-up projects withdrew. His social media following dipped, and sponsors quietly canceled contracts. The critics wrote of his
Lack of substance without Renee's hand guiding him.
Renee monitored the fallout from her open kitchen. She felt a quiet satisfaction tempered by the memory of their shared past. Behind the scenes, she began drafting her next seasonal menu: spring peas with verbena foam, roasted lamb with lavender juice, her future built on her own vision. Months later, La Revanche had settled into its rhythm. Renee greeted every diner personally, sharing stories about each dish's inspiration. She hired a small, passionate team and mentored young chefs, ensuring her legacy wasn't built on dramatics but on genuine mentorship, an ethos she'd once cherished with Marcus. One afternoon, a letter arrived with no return address. Inside was a single line, written in Marcus's precise handwriting.
Thank you for everything. I finally understand what a true partnership means.
Renee paused, hand on the note. She folded it quietly, placing it among her recipe journals. Her heart recognized closure, not regret. Years later, Renee stood in the expanded dining room of La Revanche's second location, an airy loft adorned with plants and handcrafted ceramics. She watched a new generation of chefs plate delicate dishes, each imbued with the lessons she'd learned: patience, respect, and the courage to walk away. Outside, a small sign read, Renée VOSS, founder and head chef. No mention of Marcus Delacroix. Inside, Renée smiled as she dipped a spoon into a vibrant carrot ginger soup pot, a humble dish that had set her on this journey. Around her, the hum of satisfied diners and clinking glasses was the sweetest applause she could imagine. And somewhere, the memory of a tattered partnership lingered only as seasoning for her success.